Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to Pallegney. I do hope you're all doing really well and having a great day. So we're still in November, we're still just prepping for the winter that's to come next month, for the next 3 months or so. There's a couple of things I'd like to get done to sort us out before then. Obviously we need to prep and just make sure that we're stocked up for the animals for the winter. Of course, at the minute we've got over in the bale shed there, we've got 222,500 litres of straw. That is to go between the cows' bedding, of course, and any extra that needs to go into the TMR machine to make the TMR. We've got 126,500 litres of fermenting grass for silage, of course, and plus what we also have currently in the TMR machine as well, which is currently just under 50% full of hay, silage and straw. So we need to make sure that we've got enough to see them through the winter. I'm pretty sure we should have, I hope, famous last words, but we shall see. We've also got a small handful of grass bales which we created in the last episode from this field here, and that's for the goats and the sheep. And what we're also going to gather up a couple more as well, because one of the main focuses of today's episode is to get working in this grass field here just in front of us. We're going to be getting this the final cut done for winter. Before winter, we get this final grass mowed here. Primarily, most of it's going to be turned over for hay, but I think what I will do is run the mower, and before we run the tedder, I'll just run the bale around a little bit and just create a handful of grass bales, and then run the tedder and ted up the rest of it, and then we've got, hopefully, I might make another 4 or 5 grass bales just to add into the bale shed there to keep on top of the goats and the sheep for winter. So that's the main focus of today. There's a couple more things that we'd like to get done. I need to have a little bit of a tidy up around the yard, because all my front loader implements are kind of just scattered around in a bit of a mess near the shed there, so we're going to get that sorted, just move them around. This field does need some lime now that this was cut in the last episode. This does need a coat of lime, but I think I might just wait for winter to come and go, as it were, before we spread some lime in this one. This field of wheat here does need a second coat of fertilizer. Again, that'll probably wait till spring. We'll get that done after the winter's been and gone, so that's all good. But one thing I do want to do, now any of you who did watch my last episode over on Iowa cattle know that I was having a bit of a fumble around with the realistic weather mod. Now, I've had this mod installed for a long time, or it feels like a long time anyway, but I've never really, like I said back on Iowa, I've never really given it the time it deserves to fully get my head around it. And I'm still at that stage now, but what I have done, over on Iowa, I was a bit baffled because I couldn't do anything with it, and that was because of the version of the mod that I was running. I was running the version that was on the mod hub. I mistakenly thought that was the latest version, but no, sure enough, I've gone back and I've downloaded the version from the modder's GitHub, and sure enough, now when I go into my menus, I've got everything I need for realistic weather. We've got the moisture menu here, and this is where you can start your irrigation. Now, obviously, this wasn't visible to me back over on Iowa the other day, so I was baffled as to how you get this going. So that's one thing that I may well have a look at today, and get all of my fields started with a bit of irrigation. Now, I hope I don't live to regret this, because I did read a post somewhere days ago that said that it can be quite expensive. Now, we've got 50,767. Oh, it's set to dollars at the minute, isn't it? We'll change that in a minute. But yeah, we've got 50 grand in the bank, so I'm hoping it's not going to be like stupidly expensive, but we shall see either way. But sure enough, when I go to the settings as well, I go into my settings here. It's somewhere down in game settings here, I think. So yeah, there we go. This is what I didn't have last time, the realistic weather section here. So you've got all the different options to change here for moisture overlays and blizzards, droughts, puddles, crop fires. I've got all this turned on. I've not changed any of the settings here, so I do still need to get my head around what these all do essentially. But I've not changed any of these. But the main thing is, like I say, I've got access to the moisture menu here, which means I can pretty much, and I hope I'm right in saying that essentially I can just click on each of the individual fields here, click on start irrigating, and see what happens from there. So because obviously that irrigation, now that I've got realistic weather installed, that should, I believe, give me some form of increase in yield. I hope. We shall see, because obviously, if the moisture level of the soil and the ground is correct, you'll get a better yield, because obviously it tells me that the minute the field I'm stood in at the minute has a moisture level of 2.655%. The ideal moisture is somewhere between 12 and 14.5. Perfect moisture 13.25%. So if we can increase that moisture level using the irrigation part of the menu, fingers crossed, that might increase my yield. So what we at the minute? The current yield is 90.07%. So yeah, that's hopefully where I'm looking to go with that. So we shall see. Get that. In fact, let's do that now, shall we? Let's jump back into our menu. So for each of the individual fields, let's start irrigating field 9. There we go. Now field 31, 32, and 33. A handful of these are all one big field. These are the canola fields that's next to us here. So we could certainly do with an increase in yield on those, because that's going to be pretty fruitful when it comes to sell time and harvest time. Right, so there we go. So we're already at just under $2 for an irrigation upkeep for field 9 there. So right, let's see. We'll see what that does to us. Pending irrigation cost. There we go. I've not seen that one before. That seems to vary depending on where I stand in the field. So that's yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. See how we go with that. But like I say, the first point, well, the main part of this episode is to focus on getting the final cut done down in the field there over towards the viaduct, and get some hay created, etc, etc. But one thing I did want to do before we do crack on with a bit of work is I wanted to give a massive shout out, a big congratulatory shout out to my mate Oz. Hello mate, hope you're well if you are watching. Oz's two mods, his first two mods that he's made for Farming Simulator, Garage Menu or Garage List and Task List, were both released on the Mod Hub last week. They both came out at exactly the same time, which I think is brilliant. So they're both, if you weren't aware, that both the mods are now there to be downloaded from the Mod Hub, so that's absolutely brilliant. Congratulations, mate. That was an awesome awesome achievement, quite frankly. So yeah, there we go. So right, I just want to drop this off here for now. These are the bits that, I know it's not much, but I just want to have a bit of a tidy up of all this lot here, because it's a bit scattered around. And another thing I did want to do, at the minute I'm utilising that little storage area there that's on top of that shelf there for me seeds. But this little class with its front loader, it's like little T-Rex arms, it can't actually reach up there to put any pallets up there. There are pallets up there. I can take them out automatically using the automatic function there from the icon, but I can't actually put anything up there, load them up there manually, because it's too high up. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move everything that I've got in pallet form. I've got the seeds there and a bit of fertilizer. We've got some seeds there, and we've got a bit of bale wrap there. I'm going to get all of those loaded into the main kind of pallet and bale storage system that we've got there with all the other bales in. So just have a bit of a tidy up before winter, I suppose. Or maybe I suppose that's the kind of jobs that you do in winter, isn't it? But maybe I will wait for actual winter to do that, but either way. So, first and foremost, let's get ourselves down to the grass field and get mowing. Right, here we are. Let's get started. So like I said before, I'm going to, the aim is to get this all mowed before we run any kind of tedder in here or anything like that. Before any windrowing's done or anything like that, we will I'll just run the baler in there, get a few bales of grass picked up to stock up for the goats and the sheep. So let's get to it. There we go. Mowing done. Finished. So now back to the farm. Need to grab the baler. We'll go and pick up a few bales worth of grass, like I say, just to sort out the goats and the sheep. Come on, you pair. Take your time. And then it'll be out back into the field again with the tedder. Sort out a load of hay, so that's awesome. Now, one thing I did meant to mention, actually, earlier on, is that I'm now actually running the very latest version of the map. Now, onwards from the last few episodes, we'll all know, if you do play this map, or if you have been watching this this series, there's been a little bit of a numerical discretion, shall we say, with the cow barn. But thankfully, MA7 and the guys there have sorted that out. So now, over at the cow barn, give me 2 seconds, we'll just get ourselves there. What they have done is they have fixed it, I believe, and the numbers, if we go and have a look now, are both identical. We've now got, where are we, 3,812 litres of manure, and both numbers, even though it's still odd that there are two numbers, we don't need to necessarily worry about that now. Both of those numbers will now increase at the same rate, and when we take from the manure pile here eventually, we're not going to be losing out on anything, although there's not necessarily any problems in the background, so that's all awesome. Now, I am aware that progress on the series so far, because I think this is episode 11 that we're making now. Progress on the series so far has been, I mean, we've plodded along, we've done what we've needed to do, but regarding progress, like for example, we haven't actually got any milk into our production system yet and got anything out of that. So, you know, and I am aware that I want to get things done and start getting a bit of money into the bank, especially now that we go and have a look very quickly. If I jump into the menu and we go and have a look at our irrigation thing that we've just switched on, look at the numbers there already for each individual field. We've got 7 fields worth so far. I mean, field 35 there's almost $1,000. Well, again, that should be in euros. Let me change that now very quickly. Where are we? Settings. Where are we? General settings. That's the one we want, isn't it? Euros. That's better. Get things right, shall we? For this area of the world. But yeah. So what I'm gonna do, with us now approaching winter next month and for the next 3 months, what I think I might do, we'll get this episode done and dusted, and then between episodes I'm going to fast forward time, and basically, so episode 12 I think at the minute is going to start in March, so we'll get through winter, and hopefully by that time, obviously there'll be a little bit of work for me to do to see us through. Then obviously I'll have to make sure that the cows are all topped up with food and straw, and the chickens as well. And that was another mistake I realised I'd made, very silly, a couple of episodes ago when we sold all of our grain out of our silo here to make a bit of money. I realised I'd sold everything that we had, and I hadn't considered my little flock of chickens that I've got roaming around the yard here. So at the minute they've got 456 litres of food, but I've got nothing else to feed them, so I am going to have to buy in a bag or two of chicken feed just to keep them going, which was a silly mistake on my part, but it just slipped my mind when I was thinking about getting all the money into the bank from emptying the silo there. But yeah, so that's kind of the plan moving forward, like I say. So I'll keep on top of the animals for the next 3 months during winter, because obviously there's not going to be a huge amount of watchable content, I don't think, during winter, is there? It's just going to be, you know, just getting through, isn't it, really? So, right, anyway, I'm going to dump this weight here very quickly. I didn't actually need it on the back. I think it was on the back from the last episode, wasn't I? But yeah. So we'll now grab the baler. We'll go and, like I say, pick up a handful of bales, possibly maybe 5 or 6. I don't know, something like that, just to increase the numbers that we've got in the shed there, just to see the goats and the sheep through winter. And yeah, so I'm going to get this done off camera very quickly. I'll get a load of bales picked up, and then I'll pick you up ASAP when we're ready to run the tedder and get making some hay. Right, there we go. So I ended up going for 7 bales in total because I forgot to turn off my cruise control, and so when I picked up the last little bit of grass there, I had a tiny little bit in the baler, so I figured I'd pick up an entire baler and stop when it was unloading. So the baler is now completely empty, just fueling up there. So yeah, we got 7 grass bales, so I'm going to go and pick all them up now, I'm going to get them into the bale shed, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to possibly just make one massive time lapse now and go from where we are now, get all these bales picked up, organise them all. I'm going to have a bit of a sort out in the yard very quickly, just shifting all my bits and bobs around, getting them placed tidily where they need to be, and then we're going to get back out into here with the tedder, then with the rower, then with the baler, and pick the whole lot up and get it into the farm. So yeah, I think we're going to go for, and I'm really not doing this in the right angle, am I? I need to be picking that up. Ideally I should have it's my wrapper that's got the bale flipper, isn't it? Not the baler itself, but hopefully I should be able to grip this enough, I hope, to pick it up. There we go. Yep. So like I say, I'll get all this done now. Try and compress it all into a bit of a time lapse. Might be quite a big one, this one, because it is going to take me a little while. Got a few jobs to get done. So yeah, I'll crack on. I'll see you very soon. All done. There we go. That was a massive, massive job, I've got to say. But it's all done now. So from that field, we got 11 bales of hay and 7 bales of grass. The 6,500 litre hay bales brought us up to 71,500 litres of hay, and the 38,500 litres of grass counts for the 7 grass bales that we got off of there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that is enough to hopefully see us through into through the winter into spring for next year. That's the plan. Fingers crossed. And obviously, as you can see, everything's in inverted commas tidied up into here. We've got plenty of seed, as you can see. Bit of a round bale wrap there. Plenty of straw, I hope. Fingers crossed. We've got a pallet of fert and a pallet of seed there as well. So yeah, not bad going, if I don't say so myself. Now, I'm hoping that this irrigation thing isn't going to break my bank, as it were, because if I jump into, I'll just jump into the menus, because as I was sorting through all that work there, I did occasionally flick into the moisture menu. And as you can see, if I stand in this field here, the pending irrigation cost so far is just under 1,500 euros, so that's pretty vast. And none of the money's left the account yet, so I'm not too sure when that happens. It doesn't happen every hour, because thankfully, because a couple of hours have ticked by since I last spoke to you, and the money is still where it is. But if I jump into our moisture menu here, look at this: 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11, maybe somewhere in the region of about 15,000 euros worth of cost there. So that's massive. And whoever it was whose post I read the other day saying that the irrigation cost can be quite steep, they weren't wrong. They really weren't. So let's see how that goes. I may end up turning it off, like I say, but I'm not too sure. I'd like to keep it going and see where, you know, the moisture levels take us in respect to the yield when it comes to harvest time. But that is going to cost us a huge amount of money if that is the case. So I'm going to, you know, I don't know whether it's going to be worth it when it comes to the increasing yield and getting as much as we can out of the field. Whether that cost is going to weigh up against the cost of the irrigation or not, I really don't know. We'll have to see. So time will tell for that. But as I said before, this regarding where we are now in the seasons, November, come next episode, episode 12, I'm pretty sure that we're going to I'm going to pick you up in spring, in March time, and see where we're up to there. See how low the bank balance is, and go from there. Like I say, the other cost I'm going to have to bear in mind is maybe a bag or two of chicken feed for the chickens. But apart from that, it's a case of just getting us through winter, keeping the animals topped up with food, cows, sheep, goats and chickens, and then I'll pick you all up in March, see where we're up to, see how the fields are doing in that respect, and go from there. But for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to call it here. Thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the video and found it a little bit of fun. As always, if you're new to my channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board, joining the channel. Please give the video a like if you can. It does do wonders, helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And as always, there are a host of links in the video description below with my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 or any of its add-ons, and you like the idea of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, as always, I would be massively appreciative. And also, if any of you are in the market for purchasing an online server to play with your mates, and you like the idea again of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, but also like the idea of a 10% reduction in the cost of that server, please consider using my G-Portal affiliate link, which again will be in the video description below. Any help and support there also would be hugely appreciated. So, thanks again for your time, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.